This is Jack again on intercourse. Now this intercourse scenario is also another history on its own, which I will have to cover, and how that came about. Because in terms of interdimensionality, it did not happen like that. You know, like people have babies here. No, conception didn't work like that. It was a different story. Though Enlil played with the ideas, Enki became jealous. So Enki went on his own parade. And for him, he said, no, he is the one that will find the correct genes. So out was Enki and Enlil, trying to find the perfect match of gene. By then also it was known that interdimensional beings have a specific gene essence in them, which exists within an atom, which gives them their form, which gives them their expression, etc. And Anu said he wanted perfect people. He wanted beautiful, shaped, perfect people. So that when he comes back, he wants the perfect feminine expression coming through. Perfect, specific. He does not want anything else but that. Again, Marduk became frustrated. He said, how can you do that? How can you judge your own creation, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it expresses? And Marduk made these comments a lot, but Anu and Enki and Enlil just kind of brushed him off. To them, it wasn't something to, it was basically these human physical form vessels were systems in which they placed the Atlanteans in. That's it. They didn't have any value for these things, please. But for Marduk it began to get, because he started working with them closely. And so they started making these comments, and who found the genes eventually? Enki found the genes, the race with the perfect genes of feminine expression, with the male coming together, forming the perfect human physical form, which is done through intercourse. And why did they require a specific gene, a specific genetic code? Was to, because at the time, literally all the ape men looked exactly the same. The women, exactly, the feminine expression, exactly the same. So they were literally duplicates of themselves. And they started fighting amongst each other because they looked exactly the same. They were seeing themselves. Imagine you're born into a world and you're seeing everything for the first time. And you're seeing that everyone is exactly the same. And that is like really messed up. So they started fighting amongst each other, and then these ape men, women started killing themselves, each other. Like, they went crazy. So their first project failed. And the Atlanteans who were in the ape men, as well as some of Anu's race, died. Well, the systems died, and they went into this dimensional layer, which was completed by then. They were very grateful for that, thank God. Because Marduk couldn't stop them killing each other. They were really brutal, they were primitive. It was really a failure from that perspective, but in terms of a effective result, that the integration worked and the crossover worked, and they didn't remember anything. So that's when the Atlanteans were the first ones to inhabit the dimensional existence, where they just floated. They didn't know anything of anything. And Marduk was not satisfied. Anu wasn't satisfied. Serpents, everyone. So what they did was, they said, right, let's bomb this project completely. So at that time there were only the dinosaurs left. And they said, okay, let's keep them there for a moment. Let's get everyone here first. So that's what they set out to do. So of course they waited for a while. First they worked while they were waiting, because they had to wait for the planets to manifest according to the gravity of the core of all the planets that were placed in. And they speeded up the process. That happened quite fast. And They worked on the physical human form as it exists right now. That's now Enki and Leo, Anu, Marduk, with the programming. It was just perfect. It was really perfect. That's where the story of the 7 days of creation comes in. Who were actually involved were the Anunnaki, the Sirians, the serpents, and the Leviticus. Because they redesigned everything again. They had to. The animals were too big, naturally, for these small creatures called human beings to capture and eat properly. And they were too primitive in their nature to do what was necessary to be done here. So the Martians, the Sirians, and the serpents set out to all the planets. And when the time was ready, when now this was done, the takeover of existence happened when the human form was developed nice, perfect, which they tested as well. They had their testing period. Now this planet Earth in its totality was hidden through a sound vacuum again. Therefore, no existence were allowed to enter. So no one knew what was actually going on there and what was actually being done there. Because, it was easy and simple to be done then. In terms of the Atlanteans, there were excuses made saying they were in the process of developing creation and it was a surprise for the rest of creation. Things like that. And no one expected anything bad. No one expected anything huge because, no one ever did that. No one ever thought it could be possible because it didn't exist in their world. It didn't exist on their planet, in their city. They just thought everything's calm, everything's fine. We're enjoying ourselves on our planet, in our city, in our existence, in our galaxy, and that's it. So and of course the animals. Now the animals I'd say were the only manifestations here on Earth that went through the how should I call it, the evolution process. Where the animals kind of evolved into the shape they are now from a certain original shape. So they were busy planning the evolution of the animal kingdom, nature. The animal kingdom, of course, through the serpents, the human beings' evolution through the Sirians, and the nature's evolution through the Leviticus were all involved. And when they found they were complete, their layout was complete. First, this. Enki and Marduk worked together in terms of the lifespan of these beings. So I'll continue with the lifespan in my next interview. Thanks.